building spirituality, family, health, and business. This is the Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.
Happy Tuesday, Giant Builders. Today I'm here with Lindsay Morales, and Lindsay travels a lot. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do?
Hi, Lois. Yeah, so I actually moved into an RV full time, and with my family, and we travel around the country, going to different campgrounds and different places, seeing different things, and it's a pretty amazing lifestyle.
That just sounds exciting. My husband and I had talked about that after we sold our last house, and he chickened out on me. I was so disappointed. He's like, "Oh no, I need a home base." It's like, no, the RV is a home base. It just moves with you. So yeah, I'm disappointed. I envy you as far as the country that you're seeing and just the people that you're meeting, and it must be amazing. Well, let me ask you this. How did you get into the food world?
Yeah, so I started a food blog in 2019, and I've always loved cooking and I've always loved food, and I always thought that I would do something with it as a career. I wanted to go to culinary school, and I did apply and I was approved for a couple, but back then, man, I don't know where my head was. So back in college days, so but I started really getting into it after I had a family, and I realized that cooking for your family is much different than cooking for yourself, and how there's a lot of people out there who are looking for help with that. And so that's how I got started.
Obviously, you're in an RV now. So how is cooking different in an RV than like a home kitchen?
So, it's the basic principles, the foundations are the same. And that's why it's been easy for me to translate those skills that I had from cooking in a house to cooking into an RV. But there are differences that make cooking in an RV much different. And those are those small things, like being prepared so that you can be spontaneous. Cooking meals or having things set up and ready to go for those travel days when you're going to be traveling and driving on the road for a long time, or when you want to go to the beach and you don't want to cook a big meal when you get back. So there's little things like that. And the space too. There's very little space. So it's very little space to keep things and very little space to prep things. So, you've got your little, you kind of have to carve out your own space to cook things. So it's, there are a few differences.
So, well, I have a hard time figuring out what to cook at home in my kitchen, and I often do not have the one thing that I need. How do you plan for this?
Yeah, so I plan everything by the week, so once a week, because when you're traveling, you don't know where the grocery store is going to be, how far it's going to be. So you have to plan for that too. So I plan everything a week in advance, if not 2 weeks. And I have a kind of like a library of recipes that I can pull from. And I don't really, for me personally, I don't really read recipes anymore. I can just look at the title and know what it's going to be about, and then I can make it, because I know what I like and I know how I like things prepared. That helps me be able to be prepared for the day. And then I will grocery shop, like I said, once a week, and I stock my fridge and my pantry, which are two very large plastic containers, and I just fill them with what I'm going to need. And then every day I'll write down the meals that I'm going to make for the week, and then every day I'll go and I'll make sure that I have what I need for that day, and then prepare for the next day as well. You can also sometimes I'll also prepare everything at the beginning of the week, so that I'm all set up to go for the whole week.
Oh, that's clever. All right, so it's more than just grilled chicken, huh?
Yeah, more than just grilled chicken for sure. You can make so many different things on your first of all your grill, or your Blackstone, or inside your oven. So if you have an oven, a lot of people have taken them out, but if you have an oven in your RV, they have about this much space to put anything in. So I mean, you've got and maybe this much. So width. So you're looking at like half sheets, or like the 8x8 pans, or things like that. So it's a little bit different, but you can definitely make more than just grilled chicken.
So the items that you're cooking doesn't necessarily have to be just RV living. This is something that you could do just as casual camping, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's camping. You can do it camping, tent camping, or in any different style of RV. There's lots of different styles of RVs out there. And if you're not in the world, they all just kind of look the same. They look the same to me before I started. So, but any type of RV like that, or camping, works as well.
So what skills do people need to learn in order to make cooking in an RV fun and creative?
Basic skills that you would need to learn are just about around your space, and around how to make meals that are easy to eat while camping. There's usually not a lot of space to sit. If you think about you're eating outside a lot, sometimes you have a picnic table, sometimes you don't. A lot of people have taken out their kitchen table inside their RV, or they don't have one. So you're eating on chairs or on sofas, or wherever. So you want to make your meals easy to eat, either one-handed, or just with one hand on your plate and one hand on your fork. And if you do make something that is heartier, like steak, cut that up for people beforehand. Just slice it into slices before you serve it, so that they can eat it easier. Just thinking ahead, really thinking about those little things that you maybe wouldn't think of when you're living in a house, where you have a big space, where you have a big table. Yeah, those are some skills.
So how many people are in your family?
We have 4. It's
Okay.
me and my husband and my 7-year-old son and my 4-year-old daughter.
Oh, okay. So probably a picky eating age.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. But, I don't let that stop me from making different things, because the only way that they're going to have a wider palate is if I expose it to them. So I don't mind if they don't eat it, because they at least try it. They have to at least try it. We call it a no thank you bite. That's from Daniel Tiger. But you have to at least try it, so that and if they don't like it, that's fine. I'm not going to make them something else, but they're welcome to eat fruit, or healthy snacks that they find. Yeah, but they are picky.
Okay, so what's your favorite dish to make?
That's such a hard question. I have so many favorites. Last night I made a spinach artichoke strata, which was delicious. It's just, I like things that are hearty vegetable dishes mostly. I don't eat a lot of meat. I like it. I can cook it. Chicken and fish. I'm not a big red meat fan, so I don't make a lot of steak. But I do really like pulled pork. You can make those traditional things that you think of when you go camping, like in your pressure cooker or in your slow cooker. After a while, though, those get boring, and they all start to taste the same. They have the same texture, and they have the same flavors. So I like to challenge myself to make other things besides just the inside the box.
Mm-hmm.
So it's hard to say what my favorite is. I don't know if I have a favorite.
Okay, so your preferences, grilling, slow cooking, or cooking inside the kitchen in the RV?
My preference is the Blackstone, the griddle.
Okay.
So we have a pretty big griddle that you can use it as. So the fun thing about it is that you can use it for, I mean, pretty much anything. And you can use it as a grill. You can make burgers, bacon, eggs, your chicken, your steak. I mean, any kind of protein, kebabs. The great thing about skillets or griddles is that they don't have holes like grills do. So you can put your small veggies on it, or make fajitas or whatever you have. So that's my favorite method of cooking in an RV.
How about your favorite spice?
My favorite spice?
Yeah.
Well, I'm a huge garlic fan, and
Okay.
I don't know if it necessarily counts as a spice, but I put garlic in a lot of things, pretty much everything.
Mhm.
But I also really like paprika, and I like oregano. I tend to go toward the Italian spices, so oregano, thyme, rosemary. Kind of had that Mediterranean Italian style.
What is the easiest way? You're setting up your grill. You have any tips on how to cook on the grill and clean on the grill and clean the grill?
Yeah, so before I start cooking on the grill, I turn it on, make it hot. Even if there's kind of leftover food on it from before, my husband doesn't always clean it off the night before, so sometimes it still has like leftover food on it. So make it hot first, and then scrub it off with your scraper, and then you can either spray it with some like cooking oil. That doesn't always get the right places, and it'll make your flame fly up. So be careful with that one. But what I like to do is take an old towel or a rag and dip it in some oil, some olive oil, and take my tongs and squeeze the towel and just run it up and down the grill rack. And that will get your grill nice and oiled without causing the flames. And then you can put your dishes, your food right on the grill. It's nice and oiled. And then another tip is to leave your food on the grill until it's ready to flip over, until it forms a crust on the bottom side, whatever it is, chicken or steak or shrimp skewers or fish, whatever you have. Make sure that it's formed that bottom layer before you flip it over, because things like to fall apart. So, a couple of tips.
Oh, great. So what's your kids' favorite foods?
Mostly fruit. They love fruit, strawberries, anything that I can make with fruit in it. Salads, they love salad and lettuce, and they like pickles. I mean, they have, the little things that they like that I kind of just put on a big plate and like, here you go, guys. Here's some fruit and crackers and yogurt and,
Uh-huh. Oh,
some
great.
salad. Yeah. So, I mean, they don't have a favorite dish per se. Maybe chicken and rice, roasted chicken and rice is probably, I'd say I could always get them to eat that one. But they like roasted veggies too. So asparagus and broccoli. I think it's really all about how you present it. And if you get them to help you prepare it is really important too, because then they're involved in the process and they're involved in the decision making, and it really helps them feel like they're a part of it. And so when it's time to eat, they're like, yes, I helped, I made this, and so they at least try it. Sometimes they don't always like what they prepare, but what I make them prepare, but they at least try it. And that really helps.
For my own personal cooking problem, I do not do well with chicken breast. My husband says my chicken breast is always dry. You have any tips for me?
Yeah, absolutely. So one really great way is to marinate your chicken beforehand, or season it beforehand. You can marinate it in buttermilk, which is a really good. It will absorb the acid from the buttermilk, and it breaks down those tough fibers, and it helps keep it moist. And then also with salt, if you season any meat, including chicken breast, with salt before you cook it, and let it sit. Chicken breasts only need about 30-ish minutes to an hour, and that does kind of the same thing. It pulls the moisture in, and it helps it retain that moisture when you cook it. And then the other thing is get a digital thermometer and make sure that the chicken does not go over 165 degrees. You can even pull it out like 163, 164. So that anything over that is really going to overcook it and dry it out. A couple other things are let it sit after you cook it on the cutting board for at least 5 minutes. The juices, when it's cooking, the juices disperse. But when it sits and rests, it's not on heat anymore. Those juices kind of come back into the chicken, and it reabsorbs, which makes it juicier. So a couple of tips there.
Well, thanks. I appreciate that. All right. So what's been your favorite place to visit when you're traveling?
Well, we started not too long ago, but I've really enjoyed here in Rockport, Texas. Has been great. It's a small town. It's bigger than I thought it was going to be, but it's right on the beach. So we get to go to the beach here in Texas. And it's the weather is really actually pretty nice. In the evenings, it cools down and you get that really nice breeze from the ocean. I know for a fact after this, we're going to go through Louisiana and into Alabama and into Florida. And I know for a fact that I'm going to like the oceans in Alabama and Florida probably better. But for now, this has been the best place so far.
Yeah, great. Well, any closing tips that you have?
If you want to live an RV life, you can totally do it. Don't let cooking hold you back.
Have you started like a cooking book or a cooking blog or anything of that nature?
Yeah, so I have my blog, which is my previous blog, Salty Lemon Sister, and I'm also starting a cookbook for RV cooking specifically. And I've also got a Facebook group that for RV cooking, and I've got a course as well for RV cooking as well.
Great resources. All right, we'll get links to all of those and we'll post them underneath for all of you listeners. All right. Well, Lindsay, this has been fun. I really appreciate the chicken breast tips. I really do. My husband does too. So we'll enjoy your travels and just the blessings that you have with seeing the country and spending that really devoted time with your babies.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for listening. This has been The Giant Builders with Lois Wyant.